Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever faced failure head-on and wondered if it was the end of the road? Have you ever felt the weight of disappointment crushing your dreams? Watch this today.
This was the start in my life. And 17 years later, I did go to college. But I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. And all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was, spending all of the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting. It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path, and that will make all the difference. My second story is about love and loss. I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in life. Woz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. We just released our finest creation, the Macintosh, a year earlier, and I just turned 30. And then I got fired. How can you get fired from a company you started? Well, as Apple grew, we hired someone who I thought was very talented to run the company with me. And for the first year or so, things went well. But then our visions of the future began to diverge, and eventually we had a falling out. When we did, our board of directors sided with him. And so at 30, I was out, and very publicly out. What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone, and it was devastating. I really didn't know what to do for a few months. I felt that I had let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down, that I had dropped the baton as it was being passed to me. I met with David Packard and Bob Noyce, and tried to apologize for screwing up so badly. I was a very public failure, and I even thought about running away from the valley. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did. The turn of events at Apple had not changed that one bit. I'd been rejected, but I was still in love. And so I decided to start over. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life.
While it may seem comfortable to stay within the confines of what we know, true greatness lies beyond the safety net of the familiar. It requires us to venture into the unknown, to embrace the risks and challenges that come with pursuing our dreams.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living." Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school and applying to college and picking your major and deciding what you want to do with life, I'm sure people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on, honey. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything except my faith. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Fall forward. This is what I mean. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before.
It's easy to play it safe, to stick to the familiar comforts of the status quo. But true greatness lies beyond the confines of comfort, beyond the fear of failure. It's about daring to dream big, to chase after those dreams with unwavering determination and unyielding passion. Think about it. Every great success story is filled with moments of daring, moments of courage in the face of uncertainty. From Thomas Edison's countless failed experiments to J.K. Rowling's rejection letters, each setback was merely a stepping stone on the path to greatness. But greatness is not reserved for a select few. It is within reach of each and every one of us. It requires us to summon the courage to step outside our comfort zones, to embrace the unknown with open arms. It demands resilience in the face of adversity, perseverance in the midst of uncertainty. So why do we shy away from risk? Why do we cling to the safety of the familiar, even when deep down, we know that true growth lies in embracing the unknown? Fear is a powerful force that shapes our lives in countless ways. It influences the choices we make, the paths we take, and the dreams we pursue. But why do we allow fear to hold us back? Why do we shy away from risk, even when deep down, we know that true growth lies in embracing the unknown? The answer lies in the nature of fear itself. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown, these are all manifestations of our innate desire to avoid pain and discomfort. But what if I told you that fear is not the enemy, but rather a companion on the journey to success? What if I told you that every stumble, every setback is not a sign of weakness, but rather an opportunity for growth and self-discovery? Every great achievement in history has been the result of someone facing their fears head-on and pushing through despite the odds. So why do we continue to let fear hold us back? Perhaps it is because we have been conditioned to believe that failure is something to be ashamed of rather than embraced as a natural part of the learning process. It's time to reframe our relationship with fear. Instead of letting it dictate our choices, let us embrace it as a teacher, guiding us towards greater resilience, courage, and strength. It's time to stop playing it safe, to stop settling for mediocrity, and to start embracing risk with open arms. Because it's only by taking risks, by daring to chase after our dreams with reckless abandon, that we truly discover what we're capable of. So let me leave you with this. The next time you find yourself standing at the edge of that cliff, take a deep breath, summon your courage, and take that leap of faith. Because who knows? The greatest adventure of your life might just be waiting on the other side. But don't just listen to these words, take action. Step out of your comfort zone today. Start that project you've been dreaming about. Take that risk and watch as your life transforms before your eyes. Remember, it's not about avoiding failure, it's about embracing it as a necessary part of the journey to success. So don't let fear hold you back. Embrace uncertainty and seize every opportunity that comes your way. And when you face setbacks, don't let them discourage you. Instead, see them as valuable lessons that will propel you forward on your path to greatness. Every failure is an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. So go forth with confidence, knowing that you have the power to shape your destiny. Take risks, embrace the unknown, and watch as your wildest dreams become reality. The world is waiting for you to unleash your full potential. What are you waiting for? Remember, the journey to success is not always easy. There will be challenges and obstacles along the way. But it's how you respond to these challenges that defines your character and sets you apart from the rest. So don't be afraid to fail. Embrace failure as a natural part of the learning process. Use it as fuel to propel you forward towards your goals. And most importantly, never lose sight of your dreams. Keep them at the forefront of your mind and let them guide you through the tough times. In the words of Steve Jobs, your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. Thank you all for taking the time and energy to watch the entire video. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found inspiration in this video. Share it with your friends and family so they can also be inspired just like you. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest videos. Let's together create strong energy to conquer all challenges in life. See you in the next videos. Thank you, and have a great day, everyone.